Well, it's my bike. It actually got pretty wet down here. I started up today after Mr. Cat left because I didn't want to scare Mr. Cat. And it got pretty wet, even though it was down in here because, I don't know, it was just raining out super, super hard because of the hurricane that was nearby. Of course, I got my Hildebeest sticker on there too. But I never thought about, I says, I had this, all this time, I had this stuff, I got tons of this waterproof, and I got it for my boots. I did my tent with it. Always doing the boots with it. Heavy duty water repellent. But it's for cloth too. It's for tents, everything. So I says, God, I had this thing for a long time. And these, I forgot which brand this is, but a lot of these, they look the same. They got this silver and a blue. But this is one, it's the real one. There's a lot of Chinese knockoffs. I had this thing a long time, man. The Chinese knockoff lasted about a couple years. And this one's still good, man. But it's not, it's waterproof and breathable. But what I'm going to do here is get a little more of this shit on it. You don't want something that's 1000% waterproof. But so far the bike's been pretty good though. It's been pretty good. Got my 50 weight motorcycle oil here. It's 5-gallon pail. Well, what is that? How many gallons is that? It's a whole pile of it, man. Forgot. About 5 gallons. It's 20 gallons or something. And I just pump it out with the pump. And of course I got my, this is going to go inside. I'm not going to keep this outside anymore. I'm going to make a, for it. This is my reloading equipment. There's the single stage press. And here's the multi-stage press. And here's the brass tumbler. Of course, I got chain lube and stuff. And this thing, that's a big old bracket with a chain that's attached to the forks. Keep it secure. But I'm going to bring that reloading equipment inside too. Start reloading again after what's come up with all this bullshit. So, you know the deal. They don't want you to have ammo. They don't want you to have gasoline. They don't want you to have, you know the deal. They don't want you to be independent. So that's me, Mr. MacGyver, and I'm only going to do the top of it. But yeah, this bike's been, I started up today. It ran good. And the gas didn't go bad this time because I put a whole pile of, what do you call that stuff in there? Seafoam. A shitload of it in the gas. So that was all in the carburetor and everything. So this time, maybe the gas, with ether or whatever, ethanol gets freaking screwed up, right? But I didn't have a problem starting it this time. It ran fine. What I was having a problem with last time was when I wasn't using it in the winter as much. I was like starting it up every once in a while and idling it, but what was clogging up was the mid-range circuit in the carburetor. So now, after I warm it up, and I make sure I warm it up because this is an Evo, if you rev the engine when it's cold, you can blow the head gaskets on them. Make sure it's warmed up all the way, really good. Then I start revving it up in a 3, 4, 5 grand, and that puts the carburetor, in the mid-range and high-range circuit. And it pumps that gas through there along with the seafoam, which is a really good carb cleaner, fuel injector cleaner. This is not a fuel injector, it's carb. It's a Dynafloat or Dynajetic carb. But once I get that, once I have it run like that, what happens is it blows through all the areas of the carburetor. And then I'll have a problem because I found out one time I was starting it up all the time when I went to use it. It was having problems with the mid-range circuit because when I was starting it up, I was never, giving the gas to get into that mid-range circuit. So now I make sure I do that, but after it warms up because you don't want to be putting RPMs on or revving it up when the head gaskets are cold because the torque settings are all different. You got to make sure the engine's all warmed up. That's what an Evo. That's a little trick actually. I got it from hunting from Harley's. I didn't know that shit, to tell you the truth. He told me that shit. Pretty smart, man, because I don't want to be blowing head gaskets and pulling this shit apart again because I had this thing apart enough times way back in the past. But Yeah. So that should this shit here should, it's pretty well protected under here, but if you get a really, really bad storm, you get some leaks, and then it's got the cover, but I figure with this stuff, heavy duty water repellent, camp dry for tents, cloth, boots, and motorcycle covers too. So that should be the deal. But yeah, it's the bike still didn't get rusty or anything under here, so that's one thing. And if I got to go treat any kind of rust on this bike, I'm not using paint anymore. I'm using a chassis saver black on the frame, and that stuff won't chip off, and you can just put it right the hell over rust and just locks into that rust really good. So there you go, hang the bitch, right? Anyway.